So women were seen as not capable of, missionaries. So what they were as wives of male missionaries. So there were also people who became outcasts in their societies. They became social outcasts and moved to other places, in Africa or Asia or Latin America, and then somehow became involved and engaged in some aspect of the wider mission task. Of course, we need to know that the definition of mission in this case was not simply evangelism. There was education, there was the medical dimension, there was the agricultural dimension, and so on and so forth. So these were different layers. So I can agree, yes, not many people want to take on that label of missionary because they think it's so loaded. But at the same time, we are looking at the process. What are they doing while they are here? How do they define themselves? So there will be different technologies they might use. I hope that responds to your question.
Yes.
I'll take it. Thank you for really an intriguing and compelling presentation. I'm Chris Bozel. I teach systematic theology here at Drew. I'm a missionary kid. My parents were missionaries in the Philippines, so I have some personal experience that we're talking about from the Western missionary perspective. But I want to just pick up on your last question, which is Europe and America, the West and the North, ready for immigrant missionaries coming the other way? I would say that progressive Christians in the West, in America and Europe, here at Drew, we would say if those missionaries are coming to the West to reconvert a progressive, secularized Christianity back to conservative Orthodox Christianity, our answer is no. We're not ready for that. We understand that as Western Christianity's mistake. Mission itself is the problem, that we could go and tell people to convert. And so, two things. On the one hand, is that, from your perspective, that progressive response, would that be a new form of paternalism, where Anglo-European progressive Christianity is telling African or Southern Hemisphere mission, reverse mission, that no, you're getting it wrong, that's actually not the right thing to do, we need to get beyond even the idea of mission. And then just asking what would be your word to that particular context, which is the context we live in Drew. How do we deal with that complexity? What would be your word to us as progressive Christians who are uncomfortable with the idea of mission itself? And so the fact that the agency of mission has gone to the hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, isn't necessarily good news for us, because mission itself is a problem for us in our understanding of what Christianity should be and how we should have it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I think this is a very difficult question and complicated in many respects. But I think the very first point is that we need to disentangle, the very notion of mission as if it's simply about conversion. I think it has not been that right from the beginning. So, looking at mission in terms of evangelism, in terms of conversion, is just one of several ways of looking at mission. So, again, that complicates the response given by progressive Christians to the new missionaries, to simply say, no, we don't do mission here. Because it kind of carries over a particular kind of mission. And that is the mission of, we don't talk to people here, we don't want to convert people here. The second point raises a more crucial question for these new missionaries who are coming and say, look, why are you guys living your churches are being turned into pubs and all that, and everything, things are changing. What are you doing about it? So, if we take the narrow response of simply say, no, we don't want to evangelize, that is one way. But if we take mission as giving it a wider understanding, it means that churches here, progressive Christians here are saying, well, we don't want just to have a conversation with you. And I think that can be a bit hegemonic in a way. Because in actual fact, what makes a lot of these African Christians to form organizations or churches of their own is this the kind of response that they get. Because many come to the US, for instance, who say, well, we are, all our life we come from a Methodist, an Anglican or Presbyterian family. So, yes, a Presbyterian church, yeah. And they go in there and they are told, you don't belong here. So, again, that is a totally different dimension beyond the whole, simply the idea of conversion. But I think it raises a bigger question. So, why do we sit down and lament that the church is witnessing a kind of obituary, but we're not ready to do anything about it? So I think this is what a lot of these immigrant Christians feel so disturbed about. To say, no, we need to perhaps think of new ways of dealing with the problem, and not simply say, oh, well, secularization has come, yeah, we can't do anything about it. But we need to revisit it. What can we do, even in the face of secularization, to redeem or to assert our identity? So I think these are larger questions. I hope I responded to that. Yeah. So I need to break the mission is not simply, let's convert you. Yeah.
Shall we take one last question?
I think it's 8:30, it's fine.
Okay. And we
You
can
know how to be.
we can continue to have one-on-one conversation. We can continue to have one-on-one conversation. I don't feel like I can find words that are adequate to express my appreciation for this research that you've exposed us to and the ideas and questions. I know I have a whole list of things that I would really like to talk to you about. So thank you for the gift that you have given us this evening.